Hello, so Signastran here, and I am back, and this time we are starting a new series called Set Count. And how this will work, we will be covering various different fighting games and tournaments, and we will be looking at the last set, the last game of different tournament matches, and basically analyzing the match, how things could have went differently if players would have made different decisions. This won't only be Melty Blood, it will be other games, Tekken, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat. All of those games will also be in this lineup. But first, I did want to start with Melty Blood Type Lumina at EVO Grand Finals between Jing and Masoma. This match was so hype, I was actually there. Yeah, it's nothing like being in that EVO crowd during like a Grand Finals. So both of these players made it here because they are the best. Jing, the best in Japan, Masoma, the best in the US. So both of these players fighting for their life because this is the last game. Now, one of the critical moments in this match is right here, right? Jing jumps with a jumping shield. So anybody that's not familiar with Melty Blood, when you jumping shield, you actually have landing frames just like a lot of other games. You have landing frames when you land, meaning that your opponent can trip guard you. And that's exactly what's going to happen right here. Masoma's going to trip guard Jing and basically delete his life bar for the option that Jing chose. Now, that wasn't a bad option because Vlov does have air fireball, so jumping with shield is actually a really good option. It just wasn't the best option right there. Now, Jing is in multi different plus frame scenarios because Vlov is very plus in this game. So this whole stomp sequence is plus. Whole thing is plus. So you have to hold this. So the best thing to do is block, which Jing is blocking, right? Now, Masoma runs up for a throw, but because Jing is still in so much block stun and pressure, that throw is gonna whiff because, of course, you cannot throw while you're in block stun. So it whiffs and Jing immediately throws because it's like, oh my god, the throw whiff. But in fighting games, usually when you see a throw whiff, you throw too because of course you don't want to get thrown. It only makes sense, right? So Jing takes a throw, Masoma with a amazing reaction to that 5C charge. And right now Jing just can't get anything started. Now, this is another really big thing. And remember, this is EVO, so like nerves are there, a lot of different things are running through your mind right now, like, right? So this drop right here was crucial because it definitely would have deleted the rest of the life bar Jing. However, this drop was crucial and Jing could have probably capitalized, but of course sometimes you're just not ready for drops, like different things happen. That JB counter hit was like really clutch. So Masoma still won that round convincing, but with Jing having that opportunity, it could have went differently, right? Now both players, okay, nice 5C. And this was really good. So I'm not sure how many of you actually watched the full set. I know if you're on my channel, you follow Melty Blood for sure, but this is for other gamers too that are like, hey, like this Melty Blood game looks really cool. What's happening, right? So right here is a very critical moment. As you see, Vlov's arm is going back. Vlov is trying to tech throw. Isui does a J2C very low to the ground. So with this, she can actually bait throw techs. Now, Jing had been throwing Masoma a lot in this set, the reset, all of that. Been throwing a lot. And Masoma has been taking the throw pretty convincingly, which is good to take the throw. However, this is the last round of EVO. So this conditioning was actually genius from Jing. So Masoma goes to tech throw, gets cooked, take it to the corner. Nice combo from Jing. And what is the Oki? So we do another back throw. So at this point, he's been thrown twice. Fake out, throwing in. 3 throws. 3 throws already. That is conditioning. And this is the type of stuff that you bring out late game in a tournament match. You start throwing your opponent, you see how they react. Now that you've been thrown 3 times, it's a good chance that you're not going to want to block on wake up. you're just not going to want to block. And as we see, Masoma gets counter hit. Let me take that back a little bit. So dust block string, we throw you, and right here, Masoma gets counter hit because it probably anticipating the throw and or was just like, you know what, I'm tired of blocking. I think you're gonna do something. I'm gonna press because Vlav doesn't have an uppercut. Vlav does not have an uppercut. So this was an option of like, hey, it's time to mash, but it wasn't the right time to mash. And Masoma lost this round. So it's going to the last round of EVO. Well, it's not over yet, but Masoma decided not to block again. So now Jing already going into this round, right? As you're going into this round as Jing, you're thinking, I have momentum. I just got a perfect in EVO Grand Finals. I got a perfect. I have momentum. I think that Masoma will keep panicking because he just wants his turn back, right? So first play of the game, gets hit, swings, immediately moon drives. Immediately, like, no, I'm not dealing with you anymore. I'm gonna moon drive. So with this moon drive, right, it's basically a check to get your momentum back. However, Jing already had a good plan, and it's to press 2A, 2C. Now, anybody that's not familiar with this string, 2A, 2C will check backdashes. It will catch your backdash recovery. So if you block, you'll get 2A, 2C. But if you backdash, 2A, 2C will still come out. The 2A will whiff. The 2C will come out, and generally for most of the cast it will catch backdash recovery. So Jing already had a good idea to say, hey, I want to do 2A 2C this time to catch the backdash, and sure enough, it caught Masoma's backdash recovery. So really well played by Jing. So Masoma's in trouble right now. Critical. This was the deciding factor of EVO right here. Critical. Masoma opts to burst on wake up. This was not an option select, by the way. This was a pure reaction. 2A whiffed. Jing sat there, reacted to the burst. That was a bad burst. And the deciding factor in EVO. If Masoma would have blocked right here, I think things could have played out differently. But the fact that you got your burst baited like that is like huge, and it's kind of demoralizing, especially Jing has not been touched. We're still working on a perfect right here. So what happened right here? So if you're at home, you don't really know what's happening right here, right? Until you watch the video again and you see that Jing put Masoma in a block string. Masoma was already holding down shield. So if you're holding shield on a block string, the moment there's a gap, your shield will come out frame 1, right? Jing is putting a block string on Masoma the whole time. The moment this 5B whiffs in the block string, shield comes out immediately. And at this point, Masoma just wanted a turn, because Jing is working on a double perfect in Grand Finals at EVO. Masoma wants a turn. I cannot blame Masoma for wanting a turn at this point. But Jing is able to catch that recovery because Masoma let the shield go. Masoma actually could have held that shield because this is before the patch where it would have just dropped. This is before the patch. So Masoma actually could have kept holding that, but let go just because nothing was happening. Jing pressed that 2C at the perfect timing and was able to hit Masoma's recovery, and was able to do the 2C and become the EVO champ. So what an amazing set by both players. I think nerves was a huge part in this set, but it happens at this stage between like this high caliber of players. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this video. Thank y'all so much for watching the first set count, and peace.